have been paused. However, they do push the narrative that not everything that was being sent to Ukraine has stopped going to the country.
Kristen Holmes, thank you so much for that live for us from the North Lawn. Out front now, Seth Jones. He's been talking with senior U.S. officials about the situation in Ukraine. And Andrei Soldatov, a Russian investigative journalist who is currently living in exile. He co-wrote the new book, Our Dear Friends in Moscow, The Inside Story of a Broken Generation. So, Seth, we just heard from the president. He had this call, not as long as other ones he's had with Putin, didn't make any progress. He's not happy. Where does this leave Ukraine?
Well, Brianna, this is not a surprise at all. Putin has been dragging his feet since this war began, and certainly since Trump has been in office, about peace negotiations. In fact, the real irony is we're seeing this week increased strikes by the Russians against civilian sites in Ukraine, which has killed civilians. We've seen a push in areas around Sumy. And then at the same time this week, there's reports out of the Pentagon right now that the U.S. has halted some weapons, including PAC-3 and Hellfire. And of course, the great irony there is that this is more likely to undermine a peace deal rather than to help it. So the administration has been pushing Putin to cut a peace deal, and A, there's been no interest, and B, steps like withholding aid to Ukraine aren't likely to help. They're likely to make the situation worse and reinforce Putin digging in. And that's kind of the situation we're in right now.
Embolden him. And Andrei, when you hear that Putin told Trump that Russia won't stop fighting in Ukraine until the, quote, root causes of the conflict are resolved, translate what Putin is saying there, and who is his audience really for this phone call?
Well, it certainly doesn't look like Putin is really interested in peace, especially now when his army is still making some advances on the battlefield. And yet the country, Russia, got really, really tired of the war. And there is a feeling of depression, especially in big cities. And Putin needs to respond to that. And the way he responds is to trying to sell to the domestic audience the idea that Russia is getting back as a superpower, something the country lost back in the Cold War. And the phone call with and conversation with Trump already serves this purpose.